My guest today is Alexander Roani. He's a dentist. Now, he's known as Dr. Smile, Lexleo. You've got a whole lot of other names. But Alexander, if you look in literature, if you look in the media, you will look at TV programs, dentists are always portrayed as the benevolent uncle. They're always the lead actor's best friend, a little overweight, a little bit sloppy, etc.
Grey, balding.
Grey, balding. You're anything but that.
I've got greys though. I'm making my way there.
Yeah, but
slowly.
that's very cool. But you're anything but that. You're a very dynamic, energetic man. You're a skateboarder. You're a break dancer. You're in music. You're in a whole model. You're in a whole lot of other things as well. Are you some kind of Clark Kent character? Bruce Wayne, you throw off your white coat and go and rescue the world?
I can't tell you that, or I'd have to kill you. You know, this is a secret.
Where did the dentistry come from?
Really, you know what? I've always, since childhood, loved detail. I've always been good with my hands. I've always made things. And our parents brought us up, not just me, but all of us as siblings, with the idea that whatever career path we want to do, we need to choose something that serves humanity. So whatever talents you feel you have, pair that with how you feel you can best serve humanity, and that's what you should go for. And it really has to do with the Baha'i teachings of the importance of service to humanity. So I spent a year after high school doing a year of volunteer work, actually in Greece, with refugees and prisoners of war, with Doctors of the World. Funnily enough, now 10 years later, it's resurging, you know. But I spent that year really to try to focus and see what I wanted to do. I loved art and business and advertising and marketing and the medical side and all of these things. And I realized that, yes, I'm good with my hands. Yes, I like detail. I like helping people. And I realized that dentistry was one way to allow all of those characteristics to roll into one career. South Africa, thinking about, you know, we need a lot of primary health care. There's a lot of people who can benefit off dental treatment. And you can work anywhere in the world and you can help so many people. And so I started. And more throughout the degree, I realized why I would make a good dentist. Because not only do you have a side which is detailed and theory and the practical is there, but the side for the love for service and compassion and quality of life of individuals is also there. And I really try to guide my current students to understand that dentistry is not just a practical profession. You have to have a lot of compassion. You have to have a lot of sympathy. And that's what will make you a successful dentist.
You said your students.
Yes.
Obviously, you're a lecturer.
I lecture at Wits.
Okay. Well-known dental school.
Yes, very well-known dental school. We try to keep our standard as high as possible. And I'm very fortunate to be able to lecture and supervise from first year all the way through to final year dental students.
You're not that old yourself.
Not that old.
I mean, you can't have been qualified for more than a couple of years, and yet you're now lecturing.
I'm currently 28. And
by my standard, that's a baby. You know, that's
I graduated in 2010. So really it's about 4 or 5 years of practice.
Very noble.
And I've come back to lecture, especially the fields and subjects that I graduated top in when I graduated. And this was something that I guess Wits at the time felt would be valuable to the students. And it's nice because I get to not only connect with them as a lecturer, but I wasn't there so long ago. It's more relatable, and what I'm speaking about I obviously know about. And combination, I'm also in private practice, so I get to give the students a little bit of insight into what's going to happen after university, and how they should start guiding themselves and molding themselves.
You're the first dentist I've heard speak as passionately about his profession as you are. But I just want to break away from that because you mentioned something about your parents.
Yes.
And your siblings.
Yes.
How they guided you.
Yes.
Were you brought up in South Africa? You are of Persian descent?
Yes, I'm Persian by blood. Both my parents were born in Iran. And my mother left Iran when she was 7 and moved to the UK. My dad when he was 15 and moved to Kenya. And then basically they eventually met during university time in the UK, married and moved to South Africa. And they moved to South Africa really with the purpose of helping bring about the unity of humanity, really. The Baha'i teachings, the Baha'i faith, which is our religion, really emphasizes the unity of humanity, the equality of races, the equality of genders. It's a big emphasis on unity and equality all the time. Although my mother, as soon as she moved to South Africa, only did volunteer work her whole life until a year and a half ago when she passed away. She never actually, even all of that psychology and counseling, she did voluntarily. So she never did it
as a profession
for income. She also served on the presidency in the National Religious Leaders Forum, Desmond Tutu Diversity Trust. A lot of efforts from both my parents' side to constantly try to bring about unity. So basically they moved here and I was born here, and I have 2 siblings biological and then 2 siblings adopted. And we all together are still all around. And really it's a situation of they brought all, and we're all in different professions. Economics, HR, law, engineering, dentistry. And we all, again, also understand the value of diversity in life. You say I was speaking passionately about my profession. It's more about passionately about anything that I do. People always say to me, okay, what's your dream? What's your dream? My dream is to serve as best as I can with any talents I've been endowed with. In whatever capacity, million different capacities, I try to do that. And then it makes life enjoyable and diverse. So that's what I try to do.
You do a lot of other things, and I think that's what gives you the edge. Skateboarding.
Yeah, that's how these legs can still do it.
Do you still skateboard?
Yeah, I still skate.
Breakdancing. I mean, breakdancing is not easy,
no.
But music is a passion.
So music is my other biggest
Which
focus
is your?
now.
Let's go for the one that you like the best and that you want to talk about.
It doesn't work like that with me.
Okay.
There's not a one.
All right.
That's why I'm doing all of them. I think if I was only doing one thing, that's what I'd want to speak about. Really, the biggest things in my life right now, private practice and dentistry. I'm also finishing my master's degree this year, so I should finish, God willing, in December. And then my music.
What master's in?
In prosthodontics.
Okay, which means?
It really means it's a speciality in dentistry. It's a field of dentistry that focuses on prosthetic rehabilitation of the mouth and the face. So crowns, veneers, bridges, implants, false teeth, anything false, really false, to be able to reproduce function and aesthetics. And so I'm just doing my master's in that, and I'm in my final year now. And then really the music is a huge focus for me. I cannot wait to launch as the artist Lexleo. I will officially launch next year. The reason I have not launched it is because I have to prioritize my master's degree. When that finishes, I can give it full energy. In the meantime, I'm in studio, I'm writing lyrics, I'm creating networks, I'm doing interviews, I'm trying to improve on my singing voice and my writing ability and my musical ability, and learn to play guitar better. So everything's kind of in the background.
You play an
Yes, I
instrument.
play guitar and ukulele, which are my favorite instruments.
I know ukulele.
I love it. And
Warren
then
Buffett plays a ukulele. So anyway.
we should do a duet. But really the music is next year.
Where did the music come from?
I've always, growing up in a country like South Africa, you can't not love music. I've always enjoyed singing. My mother always used to sing and play guitar, and so did my aunt. And it's just very musical around me. Growing up in the South African Baha'i community, which is extremely diverse, black, white, colored, African.
Is Baha'i, is it a broad range religion, or is it
broad range in the sense that there's Baha'is of every culture, race, nationality, and it has to be because
it's not specific to
not
Iran
at
or Persia?
At the moment, there's more Tswana, Zulu, Xhosa Baha'is in South Africa
Alright.
than anything else. But every country you go to has its own local Baha'i community. But especially growing up in a country like this, there's always music, there's always singing. So I grew up with that. And it's only after dentistry, after I graduated, I had a year of community service that you have to do with dentistry and medicine. You have to give a year or more of community service to the government before you're allowed to practice. I spent that year, I applied to the army in KZN. And so I was in the SANDF for a year as the army dentist, and I really wanted that experience to, have the training and be surrounded in that environment and live on the base for a year and all of these types of things, which was amazing.
They put you in a uniform, I presume.
They gave me the choice. The good thing about it is that I had the choice of what to do and what not to do. But really in that year I had a lot more time. I didn't have to study for anything. I just had work. And now that I had work, I focused my time that year on work, the development of the surrounding community around where I was living, And then I had so many things, so I was like, oh, let me teach myself guitar. So I started teaching myself guitar, using YouTube and DVDs and whatever, and I started learning and I started playing, and I was like, oh, I don't sound bad, you know? And I started working on it a lot. And combination of all my friends in Johannesburg who are producers and hip-hop artists and house DJs, and I started experiencing and experimenting. And I really got to the point where I'm like, I can do this. And I have a very unique angle. I really enjoy it. People think I'm good, so it must be a good start. And I started working at it. Really to the point of now it's time to launch with genres of music that people have not heard yet for the international market, and styles of music that people have not seen in South Africa. So it's very exciting.
Can you explain it?
So
is it? I mean, who are your influences? I suppose that's the best way of.
Who are my influences?
About your music. Yeah.
So, internationally, there's a big market for Afro beats, which is really a lot of East and West African beats. Okay, they're doing very well internationally. And funnily enough, I just was overseas now in the UK recently. I had a meeting with the BBC, and we discovered that really I'm Persian, and I don't investigate that angle too much because I was born here. But really, I can speak Persian, and I know that culture, and I was born here in South Africa, and I know the African culture, and I love our music from here. And why not merge? So really, there's going to start a new genre of music really called Afro-Persian, which is going to be really more Nigerian West African beats mixed with Persian and English lyrics for the whole international market, because it doesn't exist and I can do it.
If you've got a clientele, and you've got a customer base,
so obviously
this is all. Alexander, where's my dentist?
This is all very important, and you know, I've been, I mean, thus far, you know, I do a lot. I'm fortunate to do a lot of the celebrity dentistry within South Africa, just because of the industries that I'm in. And everyone understands that I'm involved in many different things, but I keep my dentistry side very professional. I never don't pitch. I'm punctual. I always follow through, and I keep a high standard in dentistry. We'll see what happens next year. All I know is that I have to prioritize what I'm currently doing. So next year I can focus on the music. When it comes to a situation where, I don't know, God willing, I become or I blow up, and now it's pulling between, okay, are you going to go and perform, are you going to see patients? Fortunately, music is really done on the weekends and in the evenings in terms of performances, and I can do dentistry in the week, even if I have to cut it down. But at the moment, I don't know yet. Let me finish the masters, focus on launching the music, and then see what God has planned, really.
We're going to have to wrap up. It's gone really, really fast. I can't believe it.
But
I've got to say something, though. You did disappoint me.
Sorry,
You don't cook.
Who said I don't cook? I'm working on that also.
Alexander, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's so good to meet you, David.
Thank you very much, David.
And
thank you very much.
We'll wrap up.
Thank you
You've
for
been on
having
the couch
me.
with Alexander Roani. I mean, David Shapiro.